What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Coffee Pod. My name is Chisha Zed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Wife loses 100 pounds and then cheats. I've been wanting to get to this video for some time, so get your coffee and hopefully you're drinking it out of one of my handcrafted mugs. No more wasting time. Let's get it.
Here's a story. You're married, have a kid, a happy home, and then you work on yourself, lose over 100 pounds, and become unrecognizable, both inside and out. You hang out more and ultimately step out on your marriage. There's hurt, pain, and a divorce. You live life with regret, but your story isn't finished.
What I thought at the time was love, I had never felt that before, ever. I have never felt so more desired in my life, ever.
Was sleeping with your husband difficult?
Very.
Why?
Because I only wanted the other guy.
Wow. I'm obviously not yours and you're not mine, but I don't
he
want
was
you...
mine. He was mine. I'm sorry, honey. He was mine.
How does your husband find out?
I confessed. I couldn't sleep. My conscience was eating me alive and I was exhausted. I was ready to leave my baby, leave my family.
What? I guess we're starting off real hot here. Ready to abandon your child. Let's keep listening.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I usually jump right into the interviews. I don't like to take the scenic route, as I like to say.
Good.
How did you ruin your marriage?
You just got right into it. How did you ruin your marriage? Let's go.
Infidelity. I will say that is the simplest way to put it.
Infidelity. And I feel like the narrative is always the man cheats.
Yes.
The man messed up. We were having a conversation off camera and you was just like, everybody that you talk to says, well, what did he do?
Yeah.
What do you feel about that narrative?
Yeah. I think people automatically go to the man being the problem. So when I say, you know, I'm divorced, whatever, they're like, oh God, what did he do? Oh, good for you. You can do better. You know, and it's sort of like, oh, it was me, actually.
Guys, coffee right from the start. Coffee right from the start. Wow. I promise I'm not going to pause it the whole time. Let's get into it.
It wasn't him.
How was your marriage? Was this like a tumultuous relationship that you had? If you could give me just a little backstory about like how the dynamic of the relationship was.
So we met when I was about 19. And he became my best friend. We decided to get married a few years later. We got married very young. I was about 23 at the time. Got married very young and he was amazing. He was a great provider. He was a good friend and things were good. We had a baby. Things were good until they weren't.
And why weren't they?
Well, before when we met, I was 130 pounds heavier. So I lost 130 pounds and kind of lost my mind, so to speak.
But you lost 130 pounds in the relationship? In the relationship.
When we got married, I was 320 pounds at my heaviest. And yeah, lost the weight and kind of went south.
Was this the first time that you ever been slimmer and like...
Yes. All my life, I've been a fat girl. So this was the first time that I actually got to be the it girl, so to speak, you know.
And what about your husband?
What about him? You mean like...
Weight-wise, was he...
Oh, well, he was a bigger guy, but it wasn't too crazy at the time. He was a bigger guy, but he loved me big. He never complained. He always complimented me, treated me like I was beautiful, but I didn't feel beautiful. Of course. So I went ahead with the weight loss.
There's a narrative about big women, right?
Some men love big women.
One of the narratives that I hear is that big women know how to treat a man, right? It's just sort of because, I don't know, like maybe the world isn't at their feet. Yeah. Maybe they do have to be humble and
maybe they don't have a choice.
Like humility to have people like them or be into them or, you know, sort of. So from the big girl perspective, can you speak to that?
Well, not really, because he was obsessed with me. I mean, when I say in a healthy way, he loved me deeply. And I never felt like I had to do a lot to keep him around. He always wanted to be around.
Right, so maybe not with him, but I mean like in other relationships that you've had in the past, or men that you've been around in the past, or been with, whatever.
Okay, so like, I hadn't had many relationships, but a few that I did have, I don't know, I felt like the fat girl.
Right.
Yeah, and so...
Do you feel like you have to be extra nice?
I didn't feel like I had to be extra nice, but I felt like I had to go above and beyond with like fashion or my hair. I always had to be, everything had to be in place. If I was going to be fat, I was going to be fat and fly.
So he worshiped the ground you walked on. What made you lose the weight?
I was just tired of feeling that way. I was tired of feeling how I felt, so I wanted to get...
Oof. Guys, come on. You've got that. What's that line rule with the lines and the person who's leaning in the most, obviously having the most interest? I mean, I don't know if you guys actually believe that stuff, but just based off this picture, I don't know. Let's keep watching.
done.
I was speaking to someone that used to be fat, and they're a fitness person now. And one of the things she said to me was, there's not a fat person that isn't depressed.
I can agree with that. I was very depressed when I was at that weight, very, even throughout my marriage. And even my ex-husband would reassure me and tell me, you're beautiful, don't worry. I still felt bad within myself.
So he watches you lose this weight. But he loved you for who you were.
Yeah.
But you didn't love you for who you were.
Exactly.
Does he not diet with you? Does he not go to the gym with you? Does he not want to do all those things? Or he just sort of like...
He just supported me.
Right.
He was kind of comfortable where he was, and his main focus was just me and supporting me.
So his main focus was assisting you.
Yes.
And just supporting you and
Yes.
being there for you.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's go, guys. Mistake number one. Look out for yourself. Okay, maybe not just yourself, but you got to look out for yourself too, right? Your girl's leaving you behind, losing weight. That's a problem, man.
So where did it go wrong? When you lost that weight, you looked in the mirror and then you was just like, hold on. Do you think that he could have married that girl that lost 130 pounds?
Honestly, probably not.
Or that he would even want to?
Oh, I look pretty amazing, so he probably would have wanted to. But I don't think he could have. Now thinking back, I don't think so. Yeah.
Do you think that he felt that when he looked at you?
I think that he felt betrayal. How could you do this and I met you at this weight? How could you lose this weight and just totally change when I met you at this weight?
You think that he felt betrayal?
I think that he did because he supported me. He was there for me when I was 320 pounds. But then when I lost the weight, I was different. My behaviors were different.
What do you mean?
I dressed differently. I wore more fitting clothes. I started to go out a lot more with my girlfriends, more than ever. I started getting a lot of attention, a lot more attention from men. And I didn't know how to handle it. I just couldn't handle it.
I think about two different mentalities, right? I think about the girl that gets the BBL. One day, I don't know, let's say she has an undesirable body. The next day, she's the most desirable woman in the world. There's a mentality that goes into that, right?
Yes.
Because in your mind, you're still that girl before the body. You can't just change that overnight.
Right.
But when you lose the weight and you put in the work for the weight to be gone, I feel like the mentality is sort of gradual and you sort of become that person in a different way. What do you think about that?
Well, let me correct you. So I had weight loss surgery. So I didn't put in as much work. It's kind of similar to getting a BBL. You go in one day and you don't have a desirable body, and then you come out and you do. With weight loss surgery, it's gradual, but it's kind of quick when you lose the weight. You lose the weight pretty quickly. I lost 100 pounds in 6 months. So it was quick.
What kind of surgery was this?
Which probably explains she looked like she gained most of that weight back, or at least a good amount of it. which probably explains that. But guys, what do you guys think of the whole women? And guys, I want this to be interactive, so make sure you guys comment down below, man. What do you guys think of the women who get surgeries to lose weight? All right, do you trust it? And I'm talking about meeting a woman who has lost weight from that approach, because I've heard most of them gain the weight back. Comment down below. Let's keep listening.
The sleeve, gastric sleeve.
Okay, and they just...
So they make your stomach smaller so you can consume less.
I've heard about this.
Yeah.
I've heard about
Very
this.
old surgery. Yeah, everybody's getting it now. Everybody and their mama. Everybody.
Okay. So you going out, you hanging out more.
Yeah.
Does he say something to you?
At first, he kind of let it slide. He stayed at home with the baby. I had a 1-year-old at the time.
Wow.
And he stayed at home with the baby, and he kind of let me do my thing. Yeah, at first.
And then it was like, all right.
And then he was like, okay, do you have to go out every weekend?
Oh, he was out every weekend.
And during the week sometimes.
So you're meeting men?
Well, no, not at first. So I was getting a lot of attention from men.
Right.
But at first, that was all it was. It was nothing any more than that. Just the attention. Yeah.
Bring me to the day you cheated for the first time.
So, met a guy at work, and we started to become friends. He was very flirtatious, gave me a lot of attention. I had just had a baby. I was about a year postpartum, and I was feeling, the weight was gone, but I was still feeling bad. I was feeling bored and frumpy, and I just wanted some excitement. And he and I became friends, and it was innocent at first. And then it gradually started to progress into something a little more inappropriate each day.
That's that work husband, man. That work husband.
I worked with this guy.
Work husband.
I had to see him.
Yeah.
He would walk
Man, I'm starting to think this guy drinks a little bit of coffee, man. He's at the same wavelength. Let's keep listening.
me to my car if it was too dark at night, whatever. And we began to talk on the phone. It was over after that. The phone. We started talking. We became friends. And it was like, well, let's go out for a drink. I'm like, okay, cool. So then now I'm lying to my husband saying I'm going out with the girls when really I'm going to meet him. And
Mercy.
it just gradually worked itself up from there. And I was just so enamored with this person and his personality and his charisma. And he wasn't boring. And I was excited to go to work. It was crazy. Crazy.
Wow. Oh man, like you experiencing that, it was such a new feeling.
Yes, very new. I had never felt that way before in my life, ever. Like the excitement, what I thought at the time was love, I had never felt that before, ever. I have never felt so more desired in my life. Ever. And even though my husband, he was very uplifting, you're beautiful, you're this, but this was different. This was, not only did he tell me I was beautiful, but I actually felt it too. When my husband would tell me, I'd be like, oh, whatever, you're supposed to say that. But when this guy, it was just different.
It was just different.
It was just different.
Even the way I hear you speak about it,
Yeah.
I could tell that it sort of brings you back to that
Very
feeling.
intense.
And it's
very intense.
Intense. Intense, she says. It was different, intense. He blew that back out, man. He put in some serious work. George YouTube, listen, real quick, it's time to talk about the sponsor of today's video. And it could be you. Hear me out. If you enjoy the content produced here on the Coffee Pod, you can support by drinking coffee through one of my handcrafted coffee mugs right here. I've talked about this before, but I haven't gone into detail about what exactly goes into this coffee mug. What you see written around the mug there, all the different taglines from the Coffee Pod. Everybody knows the
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
and
Women.
along with.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
So I first start with the plain black mug for your project. Then I clean and prep the mug so I can add my beautiful handwriting. Listen guys, I'm a podcaster, not an artist. I try my best. I then use an oil-based marker to write all the different taglines that we all love from the Coffee Pod. And once that's done, and hopefully there's not too many mistakes, but it happens, a lot. I leave the mugs to dry for about an hour. That's when I begin prepping the art resin, which I would then use to apply and seal your custom mug, the outside of your mug. The resin works great to protect the writing once it's cured and firm. The curing process usually takes about 72 hours, and then bam, the resin is fully cured and firm. And finally, after 4 days, your custom mug is ready to be packaged and sent directly to your doorstep. In other words, for less than $2 an hour, I will handcraft a custom coffee mug for you, and you get to support the channel. Why would you drink coffee from some boring mug from some random store? And the worst part is they probably don't drink coffee. Hit the link pinned to the top of the comment section and get your custom mug today.
Click the link pinned to the top of the comment section to get your custom coffee mug today. And please do us all a favor and don't bitch about the price.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So you're out for a drink, you have a drink, it goes too far.
Way too far. We started talking every single day, meeting before work, staying late after work, and it just progressed from there.
Where did y'all have sex at?
Oh wow. At a hotel for the first time.
Okay.
Yeah. At a hotel.
You set it up like, all right, this is gonna happen.
Well, he set it up. We talked about it a lot. I was very scared because I had never stepped out in my relationship ever. So I was very, very scared, but I was willing to take the risk because that's how intense the relationship between us had got.
It's interesting that you said I never stepped out in my relationship, but you were emotionally stepping out of your relationship, and how we don't sort of factor that into like the cheating aspect, and which is probably the more dangerous thing that we could be doing, right?
Yeah,
It's
but
like,
I meant before him.
Yeah,
Before
yeah,
him,
no, no,
I had never
yeah.
emotionally, I wasn't talking to anybody.
Hey, my brother's asking some really good questions and also coming at her from different angles. You know what I mean? He's not letting her off too easy, right? This is not like the last video I did. By the way, man, have you guys noticed how, as the man in this situation, he already messed up by being okay with marrying the type of woman who goes out to events where there's only alcohol and music? Why would a woman need to be in an event like that, guys? Why? How is that an excuse? I mean, if you know better, that should be a reason to understand that things are going downhill. Let's keep listening.
Yeah.
Never. When I met him, that's when it all started. The emotional cheating and then the physical cheating.
Right.
Yeah.
After that hotel, we call it Pandora's box, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
once you open it, it's impossible to close.
Impossible.
It's impossible. Once you open that up,
Yep.
what was the difference in being at home? What was the energy like when you went back home? What you now, like we said, we've uncovered it.
Yeah.
The forbidden. Some things are left off limits because God knows we cannot cut it off.
Can't handle it.
Right. So what was that dynamic like when you come back home and nobody knows and it's still your secret?
Well, it was exciting because it was a secret. But when I came home, I loathed coming home. I did not want to come home. I wanted to be in that excitement, that euphoria forever. I hated coming home. So it was hard. I lived a double life. I was a different person at work and with him, and I was a different person at home with my baby and with my ex-husband. It was hard. It was very exhausting, but it was so exciting and enchanting, and I did not want to stop. It became an addiction.
She belonged to that man now. And when a woman starts cheating, she allows another man to conquer her, and she gets those bonding chemicals released and starts to feel like she's actually now cheating on the new guy with her husband.
Was sleeping with your husband difficult?
Very.
Why?
Because I only wanted the other guy. Wow. I was so in love. I thought I was in love. I was, my random, crazy, mixed up depiction of love. That's what I felt at the time. And I didn't want anybody but him. Nobody.
And at this time, is this other guy married?
He was. I didn't know at the time. I just thought he had a living girlfriend, but it turns out that was his wife.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you find it easier to cheat with somebody that was with somebody?
Yo.
Or did you not care? You was just so enamored by this one individual?
Well, I didn't care. I was so enamored. It wasn't his wife, so I thought I was okay. I'm like, whatever, it's just your baby mama, who cares? But I was a little jealous because there were times I wanted to be with him and I couldn't because he had someone else. I had way more freedom than him.
And that's the thing.
Way more.
You do this thing, right? And I'm obviously not yours and you're not mine. But I don't
he
want
was
you.
mine. He was mine. I'm sorry, honey. He was mine at the time.
She's still not over that man, bro.
So I thought, right? I was going crazy. Nearly lost it. He was mine at the time.
So when you found out this is actually his wife, how do you feel? Does your feelings change? Does your disposition change? Like, or do you just like, you know what? I don't give a f-.
Well, actually, I didn't find out until it was over between him and I.
Oh.
But it crushed me, even after the fact. It
Why?
crushed me. Because I felt like he lied. Like, how could you lie to me? We don't
Oh, okay. She's mad. She's upset. Yeah, let's keep watching.
lie here. You know, we tell each other everything. How could you lie? So I felt betrayed. Even
Oh, she lost it for real, man. That man was beating it up so senselessly. She's mad that the other guy is cheating on her while she's cheating on her husband.
but it was over by that point, so it was nothing.
The height of your infidelity, the height. What was that? What was a regular day like?
It was euphoria. It was talking to him and texting him all day. It was getting in trouble at work because I'm in my phone all day. It was figuring out how I'm going to lie to get out of the house this evening because I got to get to this man. We're going out. I don't care what it is. I got to go. So at the height of my infidelity, it was just euphoric. It was euphoric. That's the only way I can describe it.
Imagine you're the ex-husband listening to this podcast and just imagining what he was putting this woman to, man.
Damn.
It's a cold world.
I see you go back to that place. It's very interesting to watch.
Yeah.
I like this dude, man.
How does your husband find out?
I confessed. Yeah.
Wow. You confessed.
I confessed. I couldn't sleep. My conscience was eating me alive and I was exhausted from all the lies. And, I had to be one person at work, one person with him, one person at church.
Too much.
It was too much. I couldn't talk to anybody about it.
And this is after
Who
how
are
long?
you?
Maybe like 18 months or so.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah.
To be that connected to someone else.
Yeah.
And be doing this secret with someone else. Y'all was fucking on the job.
Yeah.
Y'all was fucking on the job.
I mean, yeah, we have. It has happened. It did happen a couple times.
No,
but most of the time it was set up for hotel stays.
Yeah, no, I'm being messy. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, we appreciate that, bro. Keep up the good question.
Yeah, that's a long time to be, let alone, not just talking to somebody for 18 months.
I was exhausted.
Yeah.
I was exhausted. It became very messy between me and the other guy because I wanted his time. And he knew what it was.
Yeah, men know.
I didn't know what it was. I mean, I knew, but I didn't want to accept it.
Yeah.
I thought that the relationship that we had was so powerful that I could change his mind.
You know what's crazy?
The only thing powerful was that, D.
I heard this like one, I don't know if it's a quote, but it was just like, you never hear the story about the side dude, right?
Yeah.
Like the side dude never comes out like, yeah, it was me.
Yeah, but you hear a lot of side chicks.
Because maybe women get that emotional attachment that men sort of can just disconnect from.
Yeah.
You think
Unfortunately. I don't think he disconnected that easy, but way easier than myself. He knew what it was. He was more logical about it than I was. I was ready to leave my baby, leave my family. This was nice. I love y'all. I see y'all on the weekend. I wanted to be with him at all costs.
You was ready to leave your kid.
When I say leave my kid, I mean, here, Dad, you can have her. I'll see y'all on the weekend. If this don't work out, she's yours. Just let me be happy with him. At the time.
Now your kid's mad at you. This is kind of sad. It's getting sad.
Looking back on that now, I'm like, ugh, it's cringy. It is cringy, but I was gone. My mind was gone at the time.
Yeah.
I was really in love, so I thought.
But that euphoria that you described earlier, it can't be manufactured, you know?
I had never felt that way before, ever.
So you tell him, what does he say? How do you tell him?
Well,
I know you went back and forth in your mind about it a couple times.
He had been probing, and I went back and forth in my mind about it. I talked to a therapist about it because it was haunting me.
Of course.
I talked to my therapist about it. I had talked to my mom about it, and I talked to my pastor about it. I was going crazy. I couldn't have this guy, but I couldn't stop what we were doing, and I was just completely bored with my relationship at home. I just wanted to be done. In my mind, I wanted to tell him what I had done. I wanted him to leave me and so I could be with this guy. That's what the plan was at first.
Isn't that
I had to work through that.
Yeah.
Definitely not what happened.
Hell no.
Heck no. Definitely not what happened. So, yeah.
So you tell him, what was the conversation like?
So I had went out and he had got a hold of one of my books. And I alluded to something in one of my little journals about an exciting night that I had out. Didn't use any names, but he put 2 and 2 together and he's like, what's going on? And
he invaded your privacy.
He invaded my privacy and he was just rambling. He knew something was going on, but he couldn't catch me. He couldn't put his finger on it. I had all types of locks on my phone. He could not figure it out.
Right.
I was sneaking out. I was doing this, doing that, saying I was with my girlfriend, saying I was going here, lying to this man, essentially. And so he started to probe around the house for weeks. And he was questioning me, and it was just getting on my nerves, and I was becoming more and more anxious. I said, look, this is what it is.
That must have felt good. Just to finally
get it
off of your chest.
Just to get it off my chest. Yeah, it felt good. But the pain that I saw in his eyes, that didn't feel good. Because that was my best friend. That was my best friend. And that didn't feel good. He was so discombobulated when I told him. He was very upset. He took a walk. It was about 4 o'clock in the morning because I was out. Why are you out at 4 o'clock in the morning? I'm somebody's wife and mama, got the little baby at home. I was out. When I came in, he was up waiting, and we talked about this little thing he read in the book. I let it go. I couldn't hold it anymore. I was sick. It was making me sick, literally.
Discombobulated how?
He had so many questions. He had so many questions. Is this where you were on this day? Is this what you did when you say you were this person?
You replay every conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, guys, how could this guy, because this is where I'm stuck on here, right? We're about a little bit into the story now. How did he not know? Why did it take him almost 2 years kind of put 2 and 2 together? Somebody please help me out. Comment down below. This is just crazy. Let's keep listening.
Yeah, it was bad.
And at this point, you're just being brutally honest.
I was being honest.
Well, you were still trying to...
I was tiptoeing.
Right.
Because I was like, I don't know what this man is going to do to me.
Right.
I mean, I know him.
Right.
But people, you never know.
Snap.
People snap. And so, I was holding my baby because I'm like, he ain't going to kill me with the baby in my hand. I hope. So I was holding the baby.
Using the baby as defense?
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
Yeah.
And she didn't know. She's 1 year old. She's 2 years old at the time.
Yeah.
She didn't know what was going on. And so I'm holding the baby.
She does now.
And I'm just telling him things slowly. Not everything, but some things. And it was hard for him.
He comes back in the house and then what?
He's like, I'm moving. I'm leaving. I'm going to live with my brother. I need to stay there for a couple days, a couple months. I don't know. I got to get out of here.
This might sound like a weird question, but was a part of you relieved when he was?
Yes, because I'm like, I get to be with my boyfriend now.
Oh, shit.
So a part of me was relieved. I didn't know what it entailed to have my helpmate gone. So I asked him not to leave because I showed, I wanted to show him that I was,
Yeah.
But a part of me was like,
thank
okay,
God.
well, I get to talk on my phone all night like I really want to.
I don't gotta hide.
I don't gotta hide. I ain't gotta go in the bathroom texting all night. I ain't gotta make up something to get out the house.
And now your boyfriend is like, hold on, what you doing?
Yeah. He's like, I hope this is not for me. And I'm like,
Oh, shit.
no, it's not for you,
But it's a little convenient.
it's convenient. But
One word. It's time to drink that coffee.
No, I'll have a tea actually.
Nope, coffee.
he's like, well, I still have my kids, and I still have my girl. He wouldn't call her his wife. I still have my girl, my kids.
Basically telling you don't get it.
Yeah. In other words, yeah.
You knew what this was.
Yep.
You let it go too far.
Yeah. You knew what this was. You couldn't handle it.
What do you feel about that?
I mean, he was right, and I knew he was right, but I didn't want to admit that. I didn't want to give in to that. I just wanted what I wanted, and I didn't care. I wanted him at the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So, does he actually leave? What do you and your
So
husband?
he left, and he stayed with a family member for a couple weeks, and we talked about it daily. Every day he had new questions. Every day he was calling me and, trying to get more information about what had transpired over the year and a half, almost 2 years. And it was a lot. It was a lot of things that
Don't tell me this guy was trying to get back together with her.
I had to break down and tell him. There was a pregnancy he didn't know about. Well, he knew about, but he didn't know that there was someone else involved. It was a lot.
You
Wow.
were pregnant by the other guy?
I think. And when I say I think, it's because I was having an affair. So I was with that guy and my husband at the same time. So I didn't know.
You terminated the pregnancy?
So I had to terminate the pregnancy because I just couldn't handle that.
Hell no.
I couldn't handle it. I didn't know I couldn't go through 9 months of torture like that.
And then the baby come and
And I don't know who. Yeah. Yeah. It was hard. It was very, 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 very hard.
For who? Sounds like she had a blast. Who was the situation hard for? As she sits there with a straight face talking about it was hard, man. I couldn't keep the man who gave me the best trip to Pound Town I've ever had in my life. Insane. Let's keep listening.
what did he say when you told him that you were pregnant?
He's like, so you were pregnant by him? He had so many questions. And I had to explain to him, like, I don't know. I was seeing him and being with you at the same time. I don't know. But at the time, financially, we weren't ready for another baby. And I was able to persuade him that this wasn't the right time. So my ex-husband, he knew about the pregnancy, but he didn't know that it may have involved someone else.
Another thing, guys, is I bet you if she could, she'd probably have the other guy's baby. Let's keep listening.
I just persuaded him to this is not the right time. I'm on birth control. There could be birth defects, whatever. I shouldn't do this. Let's not do this. And he was so supportive. He's like, whatever you want to do.
This guy is just...
If I'm lying, child, I'm flying.
When you describe him, he just sounds like the ideal guy. What do you say to the women that are in search of a man like the one you had? Like that
They
just
don't make them like that no more. Period.
Yes, they do. They're called they're called punching bags. Yes, they do. Go visit your local circus.
Drink the coffee. It'll make
Drink
you
the
feel
coffee. Oh man, guys, this is my first time watching this shit, so I'm just as surprised as you are. Mercy. Let's keep listening.
And I stand on that 10 toes down till this day. And he's remarried happily.
What? Let's go. Remarried happily. And where is she, guys? On a podcast, gained the weight back, and now she's on the coffee pod.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Drink the coffee. Let's keep listening, man. Grab your coffee mugs, man. This is satisfying entertainment.
I love his wife. She's wonderful with my daughter. They're really great, but I stand on that 10 toes down. They don't make them like him anymore. So if a woman is ever that lucky to find someone remotely close, fight for that. You know, stay true to that.
And listen, I just want to say this to the gentleman who went through this whole situation. My heart really goes out to him, right? To any man out here who's going through this type of situation. This could be something that he actually needed to go through. Not everyone drinks coffee earlier on in their life. I'm sure this definitely caffeinated him enough so he wouldn't miss these type of red flags again. Remarried happily ever after? Sheesh, instant karma. Let's keep listening.
If you could be with him today, would you?
No.
That's a lie.
And why is that? Too much damage?
Too much damage. And the truth is, I was unfulfilled in a lot of ways in that relationship. And I wasn't able to express it in the right way. So I was finding my identity through sex. I had this new body and I was getting an identity through sex. It made me unfulfilled in my relationship. I was already unfulfilled. So no, I wouldn't go back.
What do you say to the people that say, well, you know, you were unfulfilled in your relationship, but you still chose to be a cheater, right? Like, because sometimes people think that you being unfulfilled is an excuse to do what you were doing. You know?
Let's go, man. No. This dude, man, he's asking the right type of questions, you know, because as a man, you're not getting away with that justification for stepping out. You know, you just admit that you're a horrible person and you're a dog, right? But in this situation, it's like, oh, I just wasn't getting what I needed. Let's keep listening.
I mean,
yeah, to me, I don't think it was an excuse.
What should you have done?
I should have fought for my marriage. I should have read a book, said a prayer. I don't know, went to therapy. There were so many things that I should have did other than step out. But it had nothing to do with him. It had all to do with me and my selfishness. I wanted to fulfill self. I wasn't thinking about him at the time. I wasn't thinking about the baby at the time. I was thinking about me and my selfish needs. So I didn't care at the time.
Didn't that feel good though?
It felt good at the time.
You know, by nature, we are just selfish creatures, right?
Yes.
That's why a baby it's not being cruel. It's just
Selfish.
I'm selfish. That's
about
who
me.
we are.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Do you think this other guy, your boyfriend, quote unquote, we'll call him, do you think he was with other women?
Now looking back, at the time I didn't, but now looking back,
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. At least one or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Wait, how does she know that?
For sure.
It's never just you.
It's never just me. And plus, I talk to people.
I thought she was talking about the husband. Okay, she's talking about the other guy. Yeah, you're part of a rotation. And you were his best behaving woman in that rotation because you were so sprung, and probably towards the end though, you started to mess up, tripping, thinking he was going to leave his family for you. What?
That were actually with him. We used to work together.
Right.
So I was able to connect with people after the fact that gave me more information and would just let me know, hey, yeah, I used to mess with him too. Like, okay.
People are telling you that they used to mess with him too. Right?
Well, after it was all over with, all said and done, I came across a couple girls that mentioned it. They didn't know my story, but mentioned it to me. And I'm like, aha. Oh, really?
Makes sense.
Makes sense.
Thought you were special.
Never even knowing that he and I were what we were, but just, he was kind of like the work hoe. He had slept with at least 4 or 5 girls there, from what I heard.
Killing
right? I wasn't there, but from what I heard, allegedly.
And I'm not supporting it, guys. You know, I'm not proud or anything like that. I'm just saying he was killing it in that workplace.
You at the right time.
He got me at the right time, at my most vulnerable.
At what point did you realize you ruined one of the best things that happened to you. Because I know for a while it was just like, okay, the freedom. But then you realize, hold on, this dude ain't. I know that the boyfriend switched up on you completely.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What you mean you got time for me? Well, I ain't got time. I got a wife. I got a kid, all right? So this was fun when we was sneaking around.
Yep.
But don't think that, so at what point did you sit there and realize, like, hold on, this is not what I thought it was?
When my ex-husband served me the divorce papers, that was when I realized I had effed up big time.
Why then?
Because it was real then. I never thought, because like I said, he worshiped the ground I walked on in a good way.
He was a simp. That's just common denominator in this story and the story before that. Worship the ground that I walked on. No woman should ever be able to say that about you, gentlemen. Ever. You worship God. You don't worship a woman. Too many men out here worship women. And not only men who simp over women, but men who make their focus in life to sleep with women and would jeopardize their whole livelihood. Even the other dude who she was messing with, who she thought she was going to run off with. Chasing after women and pedestalizing them is one of the many ways men fall and learn bitter lessons.
Amazing for me. So I never thought he would actually go anywhere. I
That's
never thought
crazy.
he would actually leave.
What's the nature of your relationship now?
We're co-parents. We're great co-parents. Good friends. Like I said, he's married, remarried, and we're family. We take care of my daughter. We keep her as the focus, and we don't really talk about that anymore.
A part of you must want him to be like cruel about it, right?
And that's the thing, right? So through him, I learned what true love really is, like true agape love. Because after everything I did to him, he is still so kind to me. He could be such a monster co-parent. He could be such a... He could...
Let me correct something that she just said there. She said, through him, I learned what true love is. I don't think he decided to co-parent for her. He decided to co-parent probably for his child. And I don't think he decided to not be resentful for her. He probably decided to be cordial and not hateful for himself. And she says that's true love. And if she's looking for him, that's not a healthy situation. A healthy situation would have been a man who would have dropped her, laid things out from the very beginning, let her know, hey, I don't want to be with the type of woman who goes out while she's married late night with other men, suspicious shit, locking phones, attitude. Now she's searching for what she used to have when what she used to have really wasn't best for her either. Again, guys, this is another example that being the nice guy is not who you want to be. You can still be a good man. You can still be kind, but being nice is centered in pleasing people. It's not centered in a principle, but it's usually centered in trying to please people, right? Let's keep listening.
I'm blessed.
Yeah, I'm just like, in your position, I would be like, curse me out. Like tell me, like
Curse
make it
me out
difficult.
something. That made me feel worse.
Yeah.
Because the more and more information he got about my infidelity after it was all said and done, the more I wanted him to just, I felt horrible. And I wanted to be punished. And he just killed me. Literally killed me with kindness. If killed me with kindness was a person, it would be him. To this day. Till this day, he's super respectful. He don't go there with me. But he don't either. Right? If it ain't got nothing to do with my daughter, it's a wrap. He's a sweet person. He's a good friend. We have our little birthday parties, Christmas, and that's it.
That's it.
It's a wrap.
Strictly business.
Strictly business. Very kind.
What do you go back and tell that girl that shows up to the hotel room and says, you know what, we about to take this ride? What would you go back to her and say?
It ain't worth it. Don't do it. Don't do it, Miss Sealy. Don't do it. Run for your life. You'll regret it. That's what I would tell my old self.
What would she say back to you?
F you. That's what she
You're
would
right.
respond back.
But I'll be back.
Right.
You're right, but I just one more time.
Right.
Just one more time. Yeah.
So you would say this is a regret?
Definitely a regret. I would say, you know how people always say, if I could go back and do all things over, I wouldn't change a thing because it makes me who I am as a person.
Everybody says that.
Amen. No, I don't feel that way. I feel totally opposite of that. If I can go back and change some things, I would.
Wow. Okay. I didn't expect her to say that. I didn't expect her to take accountability. I got to give her props for this part because we know what usually happens around this section when it's time to take accountability. It's like the last video I just did, you know, where the woman cheated on the guy and couldn't please him sexually because she didn't find him physically attractive. And she said, well, I think I was meant to go through all that. This situation, she says, no, I actually would go back and change. Now, when I say I'm giving her props, I'm not trying to say I feel bad for her. I'm saying this is a rare thing because for a lot of women, it's like, nope, no regrets. Right. Let's keep listening.
I would definitely I would never want to hurt my best friend. You know, I hurt him. I would never have done some of the things I did if I knew then what I know now. Yeah.
If he cheated on you, how do you think you would have felt? How do you think you would have dealt with it? One, and two, did part of you just want him to have cheated on you too, so that you could feel better about what you did?
No, because I'm selfish. I want my cake and eat it too. I want to cheat, but I don't want you to cheat on me. I would have lost it.
What?
I would have lost it if he had cheated on me. That's just how selfish I was. No, I want my cake and eat it too. You can't cheat, only me.
Damn.
Problem?
Like, yeah.
Did this other guy spend money on you?
Not as much as he should have. And I'll leave it there. Not as much as he should have. Was it worth it? Hell no. He ain't pay a tuition, buy a book, a bag. Do I have a little Gucci bag to show, a little Louis Vuitton? No.
Just say.
I got a couple dinners and some really nice hotels.
Mercy, man. But that's how it goes. That's how it goes. The guy who gets on the knee, the guy who does everything for you, the guy who's ready to risk it all, he jumps through the hoops and gets disrespected in the worst case scenario. For most women today, there are men out, and this is just another sip of coffee most guys are going to have to take. For most women, there's a guy out there who got the box just like this guy and didn't really do much for it. Let's keep listening.
That's pretty much it. Maybe a gift here and there. Some flowers. Big whoop.
Nothing compared to what you had at home.
Nothing remotely compared to what I had at home.
What do you tell the women that are sort of in the position that you were in, right? Mm-hmm. And the grass is just always greener on the other side. What would you tell those women that have at home but are just bored and exhausted and postpartum and tired, their bodies changed, their hormones, everything that you could think of, exhausted in their relationship, you know, what would you tell that woman?
Modern women is who he's talking about, who initiate divorce at an 80% rate. This is their message.
I would tell that woman, the grass is greener where you water it. You cannot expect, you got to work. Relationships and marriages are hard work. When you feel that exhaustion, you got to do something about it. You got to go to your husband, go to the counselor, go to your pastor, whoever, rabbi, I don't know. You got to fix it if it's worth being fixed.
I saw one clip, I don't know, I'm always referencing other things, but it said marriage works, and when he said works, he said it works. Every morning it gets up and works. In the afternoon, marriage works. You have to work for your affection. You have to work for your partner. You have to work on parts of yourself. You have to work. So when people say works, they thinking that, oh, marriage is something that works. Yeah. But marriage works because
marriage is work.
That's all it is.
That's all it is.
Straight up.
It is constant relationship between two forgivers. If you're willing to even do that.
If you're willing to even
If you're willing.
Wow.
It's hard. It's not easy becoming one.
Right.
No. Listen, in totality, you grow up one way, someone else grows up another way.
Yep.
Y'all come into one house and y'all say, okay, now all of our ideals and morals have to somewhat align.
Yep.
And we have to be this perfect one flesh, right? That sounds great.
Sounds good.
But, you know, I think a lot of people, they get marriage confused with romance, right? Like the wedding and the honeymoon and the pictures and the children and look at this and look at that.
Do it for the gram.
Doing it for the gram. It's just like...
After that, you got to go home and actually really like that person. Like, actually, do you like him as a person? Do you like his character? You know what I'm saying? It's hard.
Where are you now?
So now I relocated to a different state, me and my daughter, and 2 years ago.
Ran
I
away.
started over. I'm dating, and it's different. It's difficult. You know, I got married.
It's trash.
It's trash. Okay, it's trash. I said it's difficult. It's really trash. It's definitely trash.
The streets.
It's trash.
Yo,
Back
they say
to the
dating
streets
pool
with
has
you.
pee in it. I say it's straight sewage.
It's not even a pool.
It's sewage. Seriously.
Oh my God.
I hate it for everybody that has to be out here dating. I don't recommend it. 0 stars, not even a half.
And then you're bringing a child into the situation. You're bringing a divorce into the situation.
Yeah.
You're getting older. All of these things are factors that people are looking at when dating. So it's like it's just blow after blow after blow.
Yeah.
And then you still gotta, because you still have that longing for love.
I still have that longing for love, and I still want to show my daughter a healthy relationship.
Too late.
She has a great relationship with her dad, but she understands that dad and I aren't together, and we're family. But dad has his wife, and one day mommy will have a new husband.
Right.
So she.
I'll be back, man. We don't need to have a long discussion about it. I just want to know, guys, comment down below. Same thing, man. She still believes there's hope. She still believes there is hope after ruining the best situation that she had.
Understands.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think your karma is?
This dating pool with the sewage in it.
Right.
That's my karma.
These are great questions.
That's what I feel like my karma is.
Watching him every day.
Not only that, yeah, I get to watch him with his new wife and his new life just flourish without me. He's doing so well.
Wow.
You know, he's doing great in his business. He's doing great in school. He's just
Business
amazing.
owner.
He's a great guy. And I get to watch that from the back room. And it's hard. Sometimes it stings.
God is good. God is good.
Sometimes it still stings. But, you know, I'm happy for him. And, you know, I love him as my family. And I want nothing but the best for him.
Do you think, I just have to ask, do you think men are the prize?
I mean,
What do you think about that topic when people always say, well, men are the prize, and they say, oh no, women are the prize? What do you, if we can get your insight on,
I don't know.
weigh in on that.
I don't subscribe to that. I feel like if you meet somebody that's worth the fight, both of you are the prize. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't subscribe to that.
No,
I
we
feel
don't.
like if there are two people that love each other and want to be together and are willing to do the work, you both are the prize.
That is so true.
You know, I don't.
That is so true.
Yeah.
And I never hear married people or people in like happy relationships talking about that, those kind of things.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll say this because I'm obviously made a bunch of videos about like men are the prize. I think in the context of the subjects we talk about on the coffee pot, relationships, and particularly marriage, men are the prize. Men hold the key to marriage, right? It's like you find a guy, you hope that the guy is going to give you that thing, which is marriage, like in the context of marriage. Now, when it comes to like the two of you working together, obviously things can change depending on the context. For example, when it comes to the home, I think a woman in a home is the prize of that home. You know, she keeps things together. She nurtures the family, raises up the kids. When it comes to the success of the family, I think in most cases, most dynamics where a man is the head, he's the provider. So in that context, he's the prize. So I think it definitely matters, like as far as like context goes. But what do you guys think? That was a really rough way of me explaining that. But comment down below. I'm curious to hear what you guys think as well. Let's keep listening.
It's always
It's a little one-sided, if you ask me.
Did you have a phase growing up? Or did you?
No, my whole phase
Yo, I love this man's questions, bro.
was when Pandora's box opened during my marriage. Yes.
As crazy
the
as
whole
it
phase.
sounds, were you loyal to your side piece?
Put it this way. I would say no.
Yo,
And the reason-
you had other flexes.
I had other flexes because my side piece didn't behave.
Ooh, she kept that out. Oh, she was smashing multiple men. Oof. Of course, though, we knew that.
Behave. He didn't behave.
There is no behavior in this situation.
Right.
No, he needed to be loyal to what we had going on. Besides his girlfriend
Wow.
and my husband, it's me and you and no one else.
Yeah.
And so when he would go against that, so would I. You know, I would go out with other guys and maybe talk to other guys. Meanwhile, I'm still married, right? So that's a lot of times where the exhaustion came from too. I was exhausted.
There's no honor amongst thieves.
No honor. None. None. I stand 10 toes down on that.
That's incredible. How you know, did you have sex with anyone else?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Just keeping it real.
Consistent?
No.
Just
Fling. You know, fling here. When he wasn't behaving. I didn't want anybody but him. But when he didn't behave, I needed that fix. And I don't mean that fix from sex.
of course.
I mean the emotional, the attention. I just need.
Nah, you needed that fix from sex. You know, they don't want to talk. They don't want to keep it real. You wanted someone to bust the cheeks the right way.
Needed what I was missing from home, and because he wasn't complying at the time on that day, you know, whenever he felt like it, then I found it from other sources. I found my identity through sex with this new body. So yeah, unfortunately, yes.
Validation, sex.
Do you still lose the weight when you go back in time?
Do I still do what?
Lose the weight, or do you stay?
This man's pushing it. She's like, excuse me?
The size that you were?
Um,
Because it's like the catch-22 is like this new body that is obviously healthier and just does so much good for you. Also, in turn, turned to be
Wait, did he say, do you still miss the weight?
like your worst enemy in a sense.
Yeah. Yes. It was like a gift and a curse.
Yeah.
I'll just say that. It was a gift and a curse. It brought me a lot of, I felt better physically, more agility, more energy, but it caused a lot of sorrow for me. It's almost like that person that wins the lottery, that never had money, was always struggling. They finally get the money and they act crazy. They don't know what to do. They spend it on this. They get hooked on drugs. They get involved in things they never would have gotten involved in if they hadn't had that money. It's kind of how it is when you lose a lot of weight.
Wow.
You don't know how to act, especially when you were always big.
There you guys go. There's your lesson right there, man. She's big, never been skinny. Sounds like a gamble.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, yeah,
It's like it's an age-old tale. It really is. You know,
it really is.
you gotta sort of have it, lose it, then get it back. You know, right? I live by that.
Yeah.
I live by that.
Yeah.
To be successful is easy to me.
Yeah.
To be successful.
It's the part where he's giving her some tea to help her feel better before he ends the video. But we all know you don't have to go through all that.
It's easy. To be successful, lose it, and be successful again. I think those are the people that are successful.
Successful again, he says.
Ooh.
Because once you fall, a lot of people don't make it back up that mountain.
Yeah, it's hard. It really is.
What's something you want to leave us with? About your whole ordeal, about everything. If you could just capsulize it, you know?
I would just say, if you're in a relationship, if you're in a marriage, and it's worth the fight, try to step outside of yourself, outside of the selfishness, outside of your selfish wants and needs, and fight. Don't take the cowardly way out by cheating or, whatever you might do to make yourself feel better. I would say fight. For my married women that are bored, fight. Fight. If it's worth the fight, fight. You never win when you're sneaking around doing something. Never. It's never good for anybody.
No matter how much you try to say, well, it's going to be one time.
One more time, yeah. I said that so many times.
How many times?
Like, I'm never doing this again. And then 2 weeks later, what's the room number?
All right, I'm coming.
I'm coming. And would do anything to get there. I didn't care, honey. I didn't care. I needed my fix. It became an addiction. So.
You call that demonetized. I can't say the full word, but you guys know what I mean.
Yeah, I would just say, don't even get involved. It's too hard to get out once you open the box. It's hard to close. So yeah, and know yourself before you're getting married. Know who you are as a person. Know who you want to be in the future. Because when you go in it clueless, who knows? I mean, two people get married, they go in their separate ways. They grow differently. You got to be able to hone that back in order to make it work. You know what I'm saying? So know who you are. I was young. I hadn't had a clue who I was. So, yeah.
And we're going to be on the lookout for your book, for all the gruesome details that I'm sure everybody's going to...
She wrote a book.
Yes. Got to be on the lookout. I'm working on some things.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
I look forward
Not
to
yet.
taking to read it. And I just want to, because I think you have a very important story for our culture, for our people, and all of us,
Okay, there you guys go. As always, we're going to check out some of these comments. What do you guys think? Leave your comments down below. Let's check out our first comment here. First comment here says, I'll share my story with weight loss. This is a woman. She goes on to say, I had the sleeve too. I went from 288 pounds to 160. When you go from being a large woman to a small woman, you are treated differently. That is true. It's a mixture of being desirable to the masses and you gaining confidence, dressing better, and more. I gained a lot of attention, she says. The difference between her and I is I didn't let that get to my head. Some people seek attention, love, and validation. I didn't. I think what made me not get big-headed when it came to men was realizing this man wouldn't want the old me. This seemed more physical than mental. Men I've known for years who saw the bigger me didn't want me. But now that I was smaller, they all were over me. I'm good, she says. I hold grudges and remember the past. LOL, attention is a drug. We can't skip over the fact that any woman who's overweight and wants to drastically change her life should be doing this. And even the chick in the video who you saw, she gained the weight back. Like, obviously, you wouldn't be struggling. You'd be struggling less if you lost the weight. And maybe you need to build strategies to not fall back into a rotation of a guy who's playing you. And when you finally do get a guy who's genuine, you're going to take it more seriously. But for some reason, that's a message that will paint you as the bad guy, of course, if you're telling women out here to lose weight for men. We all know that, right? Another comment here says, imagine loving your wife unconditionally through her worst times, and she proved herself only to give her best to another man. What a horrible human being, this commenter says. Another person who says, the fact she felt betrayed because her side dude lied to her is beyond wild, with the crying tears emoji. Here's another comment from another person who says, I'll share my story. My wife got cancer, lost her weight, hair, breasts, and her mind in the process. Mercy. Did everything to comfort her in the process. Married for 7 years at the time. She goes through treatment and beats cancer. All of the features come back. She gets her health back and becomes the woman she was but better. That's awesome. She then cheats and I find out I just said we're getting a divorce and that she has to leave. I get called all kinds of names and lashed out upon, but she eventually, so I didn't get the full comment here, so I'm going to find so I can read the full comment for you guys. But she eventually leaves with our 2 kids. For about 6 months, everybody falls in line to the new life apart. About 7 to 8 months into beating cancer, it came back. But this time she's alone. It came back more aggressively and she died in a few months. I got my kids back due to us not getting the divorce. Wow. Goes on to say, due to us not getting the divorce finalized, the Army gave my family the life insurance policy. All in all, staying calm and true to myself, karma came back around with the price. I got everything I wanted, parentheses, my family, but they lost their mom. I'm torn on that aspect, but life is good now. No more drama, no more stress. Man, that's a difficult situation right there. Difficult situation, man. Took a lot of self-control, obviously, for him to not say anything about him knowing that she cheated. Another commenter here says, there was a CEO that got rid of people who were cheating with other coworkers, no matter what. He said, if your own spouse can't trust you, why should I? More companies should do that. Somebody else here says she had love and purposefully threw it away. This amount of betrayal is sickening. This man loved her unconditionally and she treated him like trash. She tells the story so nonchalantly because she never truly and equally cared for her ex. Somehow she attempts to make herself the victim of the other man. And I did catch that. She's the worst kind of woman, this commenter says. Somebody else here says, this interview confirmed everything I've always said about cheating married women. 1, they'll never tell you the whole truth when caught. 2, there's usually more than one sex partner other than the one they are caught with. All right, we found that out at the end. If he didn't ask her about the other lovers, she would have never have mentioned it. Trust me, there's more scandalous details than she let out. Oh yeah, for sure. Still, I applaud her for taking some measure of responsibility. She did try, to take some responsibility. But yeah, oh yeah, a bunch of other stuff she didn't share. For sure. Here's another comment that said, I was her husband. Not literally, of course, but I lived through the horror of betrayal, the tragedy of my broken family, the loss of time with my son, the shame of having to carry the moniker, divorced, added to my name for the rest of my life, the sadness of people thinking I was the guilty party in our divorce because I refused to talk about what happened, etc. All because my ex felt she needed some excitement. Even though I took care of my family and was supportive of her and her widowed mom. Of course, I had to take a level of accountability though, and I took a hard look into the mirror to see what I could have done better as a husband. This tragedy was a gift though, he says. I divorced her, deepened my relationship with Christ. Good stuff. God is good. Became red-pilled. That's what's up. Drink the coffee.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Traveled across South America and Southeast Asia, where I ultimately met the love of my life. Okay, looks like we got a passport bro here. Precious woman of God who is my best friend and true helper in every sense of the word. Thank God for Romans 8:28. Thank God for Christ who gives new beginnings. Thank God who gives beauty for ashes, this commenter says. Somebody else here added, she validated everything I've ever heard in all RP spaces. The way she moved, the way she acted, how she viewed her husband, everything they say about women, she just validated. She even validated all the RP recommendations on how men should move once they find out. Her ex maintained emotional discipline. That is facts, man. Immediately separating himself from her, served her with divorce papers, then focused on himself and rebuilt his life without her. Yes. He did this all while maintaining emotional control. Very true. A lot of men can learn from that. Other than the beginning part, which was him pandering and worshiping the ground that she walked on, which was crazy. He repaid her disdain and disrespect with indifference. Yes. No man should ever share their life with her or with a woman like her. This commenter says, unfortunately, most women are like this. So most guys will get cheated on, lose half their stuff, and raise someone else's kid. It's not even worth it. Indifference is a powerful, powerful state. And it's the final stage of becoming caffeinated, whether you want to call it becoming red pill or understanding female nature, all that stuff. I did a video a while back. It was like the 5 stages of red pill. I released it a while back. It's called Explaining the Red Pill and the 5 Stages Every Man Will Go Through. It's about a 2-year-old video, but in that video I explain all the different stages every man goes through after drinking coffee. And that final stage is indifference. It's a good video, you should go check it out. Somebody else here says she traded a lifetime with a great man who treated her like a queen. For 18 months of being a side chick and jump off. I can't with women anymore. That was the last comment. As always, I'm curious to know what you think. Leave your comments down below. And don't forget that if anything, I hope that the videos that you watch on this channel improve your life for the better, whether that's to reinstill the decision you've made to date casually, get married, whatever it may be. Make sure it's your decision overall. Maybe you're just tapping out because you've been through toxic marriages. Overall, remember that you have to protect your own mental well-being. You have to go into relationships and go into how you view these type of situations with a realistic lens so that you're not devastated in the end. Till next time, guys. I'm out. Peace.